So in other words, I mean, we had a bunch of veterans from other teams come in, and I think what you learned is, and it might be a little bit of my gripe to with today's players is, incentives in the contract. It's kind of built for some individual goals. In other words, you get so many catches or you start so many games. I think you do best when you're just focused on getting that win, whether the defense wins the game for you, the offense, or your kicker gets a field goal. That's the bottom line. You work. My gosh, I love to catch the football as much as anybody. But if you had a game where you got no balls targeted you or you won the game,
blocking or whatnot. Honestly, I think what you're bringing up, I think a great person to potentially even kind of relate and obviously plays your position is kind of Kyle Rudolph right now. You know what I mean? Stats, we obviously even drafted Irv Smith, but you don't hear those complaints. You understand that. I was actually looking at a stat yesterday. Kyle Rudolph had as many blocks last year, or just about as many blocks as he did, pass, like on our targets.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the other thing. You have to come. That's part of football, obviously, with fantasy football, all this. I mean, my gosh, the statistics, targets, and all that. I mean, that was really, even the sack of the quarterback never came in until probably the early 70s. I mean, they had to reconstruct some of Eller's and Marshall's and Page's sacks because that was just tackling the quarterback. That was your job. That was now a defensive lineman is basically, how good is he? Well, how many sacks he had, and that and you realize the greatness of the front four, which I do because I had to practice against them all the time. Was ability they would stop the run, they would rush the passer. Many times they're double teamed to get them from the quarter. Still they got the sacks, but now I've got a friend JJ Watt that plays with Houston, and he's a great player, no question. But it seems like too many times it's how good's the receiver? Well, how many catches did he have? How good's the defensive end? How many sacks did he have? Well, I think, hats off to Kyle Rudolph, who's a heck of a guy, that he's a complete player, and that's for old guys like myself. That's kind of the name of the game. If you have to block all game long, that's what a tight end has to do. If you get a chance to get open, which a lot of times in the short yardage and down near in the red zone near the goal line, the tight end's your best weapon because it gets pretty tight down there where the wide receivers don't have that room like they have in the middle of the field. So a guy like Kyle Rudolph with that size is so important. But I'm sure he was frustrated not getting the ball, which we all are. We all love to get a lot of passes and a lot of accolades, but the biggest accolades you could have is you're part of a winning team.